before the show real quick, take a peek at this little doodle I did, like last night. Remember, so these are my OCs, and, I just, back a few years ago when I started the channel, my art was actually little crap, and, now it's actually, I feel like my art has its own identity now. So this is a little ditty I did because I haven't drawn them in a long time. So I just wanted to take a second and thank you all for supporting me. We recently hit 2 years on the channel, as I already said. So thank you so much. I love you all so much. Hello everyone. Welcome back to reading ZADR fanfiction. Again, we are reading Curiosity by chansandkustard on wattpad. So today I've recently, like an hour ago, just I have some pains in my lower abdomen. So if I sound kind of like tired or winded, that's why I'm a little, it's hard to breathe, so it's hard to read, But yeah, I just thought if I'm breathing extra heavy, that's why. So anyways, yeah, let's get into it. Chapter 2. The walk to Dib's home wasn't very long, as Zim thought it would be. In fact, his house was so close to Zim's, Zim paused to knock on the door. When he looked to the home next to him, that house is very nice, he thought. He soon realized it was his own. Zim knocked on the door, took a very small look at Dib's house. It was tall and did nothing to compare to the house Zim lived in. It had 2 floors and a garage. The garage itself had to be twice the width of Zim's whole house. The door opened and Dib welcomed Zim inside. It was a little spacious, but maybe Zim was just used to having a packed home. Dib's sister, Gaz, was on the couch, soda can in one hand and casserole in the other. A console. Oh my lord. Oh, that's so funny. Zim turned back to Dib. So what do you need help on? Zim asked. Dib took out a few homework assignments and a quiz from science class. He slammed the paper on the table, like tallest bidders would do with paperwork. Zim looked at the sheet and read the title. Oh, that's easy. It's only anatomy, Zim told him. Dib was slightly embarrassed, like he didn't know human anatomy, so his cheeks turned faintly pink. Zim saw this and said, "So your head is that big and you don't even know your own anatomy?" Even though Dib is an alien, he still expected to know humanoid anatomy to blend in. The teachers all said the homework and the test assignments were based off lessons they already had, so Dib knew he should have made the mission active earlier. Zim solved all the anatomy questions, assuming Dib didn't know a thing about anatomy, and moved on to the human organ sheet. You were only supposed to fill in the easiest organs, the 7 vital ones for survival. This shouldn't be a problem, right? Well, Zim saw 7 familiar words. Dib saw words that were new and confusing. The more he stared at them, the more unfamiliar they looked. If Zim wasn't going to help him, he might as well have slammed the papers in the trash and hope it doesn't affect anything important. Okay, first we'll learn where the heart is, Zim said, getting up from the table. Point your finger at my head, he commanded. Dib knew what this was because people teased him for having a big head. He pointed directly at Zim's head, over his eyes, in between his forehead. Zim nodded and told him, "Go directly lower, all the way to my chest." Dib did as he commanded. Dib did as he was commanded and pointed to Zim's heart. "That's where the heart is," Zim concluded. Dib wrote it down on the paper and Zim sat. They filled out the rest of the sheet. Zim got tired, so instead of Zim modeling for the human organs, or the human organ tricks, they used the human outline on Dib's page. While Dib was figuring out problems, Zim could do his homework, describing substances. This came to Dib's advantage, considering the reason he was sent to Earth was to get substances. Dib finished before Zim, so he got to watch him fill out the descriptions for a substance. It was called water. Zim describes it as wet and tasteless and commonly found everywhere. Dib wrote this down as Zim got up to leave. "I have to go feed my dog. Is it fine if I leave?" he asked. He reached for his backpack on the couch. Dib was sort of disappointed that Zim was leaving, but he understood that he must do his business. "You can bring him over. Gaz loves dogs," Dib said. As much as he hated bringing Gaz into this, he felt like it must be done. Zim walked out and told Dib to follow. "You're going to carry the toys and food. I'll carry Gur," he said. Dib looked at him confused. What, or who, is Gur? As they walked on the sidewalk, Zim hummed a small song. Dib could only slightly hear it, but he still knew it sounded pleasant. Then, his quiet hums were interrupted by the loud creak of a door opening and scratching on the floor. Oh wait, on the door, I'm sorry. Suddenly, a small green dog leaped at Zim and Dib. When the dog landed, it fell and scrambled to get back up. While he was struggling to get up, Zim picked up the small dog. "This is my dog Gur. He's very energetic, so I have to bring him some toys too," Zim said, offering a squeaky toucan plushie to Gur. Gur bit down on it and shook the stuffing out of it. Dib hadn't seen anything like that. Not only was it too vicious for its size, but it was adorable as well. Dib had out his hand to hold Gur, but instead of picking up a nearby chew toy, I'm gonna start that sentence over. Dib held out his hand to hold Gur, but instead picked up a nearby chew toy. "No," Dib thought, "it's trying to fool me. I'll pick it up and suddenly it'll tear me apart. It might even obliterate me for all I know." Dib picked up 2 more toys and Gur's food and water bowl, while staring daggers at the small puppy in Zim's arms. If looks could kill, Gur would be dead or screaming in pain. Zim didn't notice this, so he did nothing to stop the glares. Gur became more energized, believing Dib was going to throw the toys in his hands. Zim had to hold on to him a little tighter because of his energy level. As Zim and Dib walked back to Dib's home, Gur started squirming in Zim's arms. As he started to grow stronger and stronger, each step Zim took. As soon as Zim walked into Dib's house and closed the door, Gur escaped and ran into Dib. He built up speed and dashed into Zim, almost knocking him down. He stood on his hind legs and put his front paws on Dib's lap, then began to sniff him. Since Dib didn't know what was happening, he began to panic. He tried moving backwards without hurting the puppy, but to no avail. Gur would just follow along. Zim slowly walked towards Gur, hoping not to excite him. He planned on picking Gur up, but Gur wouldn't let him near Dib. "Dib, don't worry, he's just sniffing you," Zim said, after giving up. Zim's assurance made Dib even more frightened. "He's trying to see if he could eat me. Maybe he's also figuring out I'm Urkin. The mission would fail and I'm going to be on an autopsy table in no time," Dib thought. When all felt lost for Dib, Gaz got up from the couch and picked up Gur. He struggled in her arms for a moment, but then gave up and started sniffing her instead. Dib felt a wave of relief as he sat down on the table. Zim sat down after admiring her strength. Gur was stronger than he looks, and most people are surprised by how he pulls Zim wherever with the leash. It may just look like Zim's just weak, being the scrawny little dude he is, but it's Gur's strength. If Gaz could carry him with ease and he couldn't get away, she must be stronger than John Cena. Your sister's marvelously strong, Zim said, while writing something on his own paper. Dib nodded and said, yeah, that's Gaz all right. He started typing something on his laptop. Zim thought for a second and said, Red's also pretty strong. Dib looked up from the screen, directly at Zim. Did I ask? He asked sarcastically. Zim ignored him and continued. He also rides a motorcycle with no helmet. I just thought it was cool, he said. Dib gave Zim a weird look and continued typing. Then the real talk started. Ooh, okay, so unfortunately that's a bit of a cliffhanger because that's the end of chapter 2. What is the real talk? Is Dib gonna ask how they procreate? I hope not. Anyways, so that's it for chapter 2. I hope you all enjoyed. Yeah, I'm surprised I still don't know how to do a proper outro. So, if you liked it, please like. If you have any suggestions, please comment them, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!